The morning sun turned Manhattan's glass towers into blades of light. Ashton Blackwood's Aventador growled through traffic like a caged predator finally unleashed. 9:17. Late for his own board meeting, but the world had learned to wait for men worth $22 billion. His phone buzzed. Madison. Or was it Addison? He couldn't remember which socialite he'd promised the Hamptons to. It didn't matter. Send jewelry later, smooth it over, move on. Women were chess pieces in a game he'd mastered years ago. Beautiful, temporary, forgettable. Worthless traffic, he muttered, swerving into the turning lane. The light turned green. A rusted yellow cab cut across 2 lanes, appearing from nowhere. Ashton's foot slammed the brake. The supercar screamed to a halt. Coffee exploded across his $12,000 suit. What the hell? The cab stopped dead. The back door flew open. She wasn't supposed to exist in his world. Floral dress faded from too many washes. Worn sneakers. Portfolio case bursting with papers. Auburn curls escaping a messy bun. Freckled face flushed with pure fury. She marched straight toward his car. Horns blared. She didn't care. Ashton lowered his window, ready to destroy this nobody with words that would haunt her for years. "Do you own the road, jackass?" Her voice carried a southern edge, sharp as broken glass. He blinked. No one spoke to him like this. No one. Some of us have actual jobs, responsibilities we can't be late for. She slapped her hand on his hood. Your compensation for having a tiny personality doesn't give you the right to endanger lives. Do you have any idea who I am? The words came out weak, automatic. Her green eyes narrowed. Someone who confuses net worth with self-worth. Someone who thinks a car that costs more than most people's homes makes you important. She shook her head. I don't care if you're the King of England. You almost killed me. Your driver cut me off. I don't have a driver. He stopped. She thought he was in the back seat. Being chauffeured, of course. Poor people didn't drive cars like this themselves, for reasons he couldn't name. He didn't correct her. A traffic officer's whistle pierced the air. Great, now I'm definitely late. She dug into her bag, pulled out a business card, flicked it through his window like a tiny knife. My dress is ruined. Someone's paying for it. Call me. She rushed back to the cab. It lurched into traffic and vanished. Ashton picked up the card. Olivia Bennett, children's book illustrator. A small watercolor rainbow decorated the corner. He almost threw it away. Then he saw the handwriting on the back. P.S. Your car looks like a compensating midlife crisis on wheels. For the first time in years, Ashton Blackwood smiled. Actually smiled. Sir, his AI assistant interrupted. The board is asking about your ETA. He tucked the card into his pocket. Tell them to start without me. I have more important business. He had to find out who Olivia Bennett really was. Olivia's studio apartment smelled like roses and turpentine and failure. She'd missed the Wonderland Publishing meeting. One shot at illustrating a major children's book. Gone because some entitled jerk in a ridiculous car thought traffic laws were optional. This is what happens when you try to save cab fare, she told Winston, her one-eyed rescue cat. The universe punishes frugality. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Probably another collection agency. Hello? Is this Olivia Bennett? A woman's voice, crisp as new money. Yes. If this is about the payment plan, this is Veronica Hayes, executive assistant to Ashton Blackwood of Blackwood Technologies. Olivia nearly dropped her paintbrush. Who? Mr. Blackwood was involved in a traffic incident with you this morning. He'd like to make amends. The memory crashed back. The obscene car. The smug face behind the wheel. Wait, the driver wasn't the driver? That was Mr. Blackwood personally, yes. Olivia sank onto her paint-splattered stool. Ashton Blackwood. Even she knew that name. Business magazines at grocery checkouts. The tech wonder kid. The billionaire bachelor. She'd called his car compensation for something. Mr. Blackwood would like to meet tomorrow at noon to discuss restitution for your dress and missed appointment. I don't need his charity, he insists. The address is... Fine, text it to me. Olivia hung up, staring at Winston. I just told a billionaire to text me. Am I insane? The next day she stood outside Blackwood Tower, a glass monolith that scraped the sky. Her best dress was still her worst dress. Security directed her to the 63rd floor. The elevator doors opened to a penthouse office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan like a conquered kingdom. Ashton stood at the window, hands in his pockets. Tailored navy suit, dark hair perfectly styled. When he turned, his blue eyes caught the light. Ms. Bennett. Mr. Blackwood. She stepped inside, refusing to be intimidated. Nice view. Must make you feel powerful. A smile ghosted his lips. You don't mince words, do you? I can't afford to. Time is money, and I don't have much of either. He moved to his desk, picked up an envelope. This covers your dress, your missed meeting, and 6 months of living expenses. Call it an apology. Olivia looked at the envelope like it might explode. How much? 50,000. Her stomach dropped. No. He seemed genuinely confused. I don't want your guilt money. She stepped forward. You want to make amends? Help me get another meeting with Wonderland Publishing. Use whatever connections your empire bought you. That's worth more than any check. Something shifted in his expression. Interest. Real interest. You're serious. Dead serious. I spent 4 years on that portfolio. I'm not losing it because you can't handle traffic. He studied her for a long moment. What if I told you I could do better than Wonderland? I'd ask what the catch is. Dinner. Tonight. Let me hear about your work, your dreams. He paused. And maybe you can tell me why someone as talented as you is taking cabs to meetings. Because talent doesn't pay student loans, Mr. Blackwood. Ashton. And I think we both know you're not just talented. You're angry, hungry. That's more valuable than talent. She should have said no, should have walked out, but something in his voice, in the way he looked at her, made her pause. One dinner. That's it. That's all I'm asking. But they both knew it was a lie. 3 months changed everything. Ashton couldn't remember the last time he'd laughed like this. Real laughter. The kind that hurt your ribs and made you forget about stock prices and hostile takeovers. Olivia had that effect. She'd turn his penthouse into chaos, sketching on napkins during dinner, telling stories about Winston the one-eyed cat with theatrical flair, challenging every assumption he'd built his empire on. You don't own people, she'd said last week, when he'd mentioned his board members. You work with them. There's a difference. Semantics. No, it's humanity. Something you seem to have misplaced around the same time you bought your first yacht. She was right. She was always right. And it terrified him. Tonight he'd pulled strings, called in favors, got her an exclusive contract with Aurora Publishing, the biggest children's book company in the world. 6 figures. Creative control, everything she'd dreamed about. She sat across from him now in his private dining room, candlelight catching the gold in her auburn hair. The contract lay between them like a promise. I can't accept this, she said quietly. Why not? Because I don't know if I earned it or if you bought it for me. Her green eyes met his. And I need to know the difference. You earned it. I just opened the door. Doors you opened because we're together. Because of whatever this is between us. Does it matter? He reached across the table, caught her hand. You're brilliant, Olivia. The world should see that. It matters to me. She pulled away. I've spent my whole life being told I'm not good enough. Not rich enough, not connected enough. And now you're handing me everything I wanted. And I don't know if it's real or if it's pity. It's not pity. Then what is it, Ashton? Her voice cracked. Because you don't do relationships. Everyone knows that. You collect women like you collect cars. So what am I? What is this? The question hung in the air like smoke. He stood, moved to the window. Manhattan glittered below, indifferent to human drama. I don't know how to do this, he admitted. I don't know how to be what you need. I need honesty. That's it. Just tell me the truth. He turned to face her. The truth is you scare me. You make me want things I stopped wanting years ago. Things like waking up next to someone who knows all your flaws and stays anyway. Things like building something that matters more than money. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Then why does this feel like goodbye? His phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. And again, answer it, she whispered. You always do, he picked up. Veronica's voice tight with urgency. Sir, your brother called. He's moving forward with the hostile takeover. He has board votes locked. If you don't fly to Singapore tonight, you'll lose the company. Ashton closed his eyes. His brother Marcus, always waiting in the shadows, ready to strike. The Singapore deal was supposed to be secret. Someone had leaked it. "I'll be there in 2 hours." He hung up. Looked at Olivia. "You have to go," she said. "Come with me." "I can't. My first manuscript deadline is in 3 days. I have to finish it. Then I'll stay." "And lose everything you built?" "No." She stood, grabbed her coat. "This is your world, Ashton, not mine. I was stupid to think I could fit into it." "Olivia, wait. Sign the contract or don't. I'll figure it out either way." "I always do." She walked out. The door clicked shut. Ashton stood alone in his penthouse, surrounded by everything he'd ever wanted, holding nothing that mattered. His phone buzzed again. "Marcus's number," he answered. "Enjoy the show, little brother?" Marcus's voice dripped venom. "I told you emotions make you weak. Now watch me take everything. How did you know about Singapore?" Marcus laughed. "Your little artist friend has a roommate with expensive tastes and a lot of debt. Funny how easy people are to buy when you know their price." The line went dead. Ashton's blood turned to ice. Olivia's roommate Sarah, the same Sarah who'd been at the penthouse last week, asking questions about his business, his travel plans. The betrayal was surgical. Perfect. And Olivia had no idea she'd been the weapon used to destroy him. Olivia found out from a text message. Sarah's words glowed on her phone. "Screen at 2 a.m. I'm sorry. I didn't know what he'd do with the information. He paid off my credit cards. I thought it was harmless." Below it, a screenshot. Marcus Blackwood's wire transfer, $50,000. The same amount Ashton had tried to give her that first day. Her hands shook as she called Ashton. Straight to voicemail. She tried again. Again. Nothing. Winston meowed from the windowsill, sensing her panic. "I ruined him," she whispered. "I brought a viper into his home." She grabbed her coat, ran into the night. The city was quieter at this hour, but just as merciless. By the time she reached Blackwood Tower, dawn was breaking, painting the glass in shades of blood and gold. Security tried to stop her. She pushed past them, rode the elevator to the 63rd floor, burst through the doors. Ashton stood at the window, still in yesterday's suit, looking like a man who'd aged a decade overnight. "I know," she said. "I know what Sarah did. I know Marcus used me. I know I destroyed everything." He didn't turn around. "You should go." "No. I'm not running from this." "There's nothing you can do, Olivia. The board votes tomorrow. Marcus has the majority. I lose the company I built from nothing because I was too distracted by you to see the knife coming." The words were meant to wound. They did. "Then let me fix it." "How?" He finally turned. His blue eyes were hollow. "Unless you can convince 5 board members to change their votes in 24 hours, there's nothing to fix." "What if I could?" He laughed bitterly. "You don't have that kind of leverage." "No, but Marcus does." She stepped closer. "He wanted to hurt you through me. That means he thinks I matter to you, that I'm valuable. What are you saying?" "I'm saying I can make a deal with him. Tell him I'll disappear from your life permanently if he backs off the takeover. He gets what he wants. Proof that you're alone again. Vulnerable." "Absolutely not." Ashton closed the distance between them. "I won't let you sacrifice yourself for my mistakes. These aren't your mistakes. They're mine. I trusted the wrong person. I brought danger into your world. Let me make it right. By walking away, that's not making it right. That's just running. Sometimes running is the only way to save someone." Her voice broke. "You taught me that. You've been running from connection your whole life because you thought it made you weak. But it doesn't. It makes you human. And I love you for that humanity, even if you can't love yourself." The confession hung between them like a bridge neither could cross. "Olivia, I called Marcus an hour ago. Made the deal. He's withdrawing the takeover. Your company is safe." She pulled an envelope from her coat. "And I'm returning the publishing contract. I can't take it knowing it came from us. I need to earn my own way. You contacted him behind my back? I did what you do for someone you love." "I protected them." Ashton grabbed her shoulders. "You stupid, brilliant, impossible woman. Do you have any idea what you've done? Saved your empire. Lost my chance. Made the only choice that mattered. No, you proved Marcus right. You proved that caring about someone makes me weak, that I'll always choose the empire over the person. Then choose differently." She placed her hand over his heart. "I'm standing right here. Choose me, choose us. Let Marcus take the company. We'll build something new, something that's ours. I can't ask you to give up your dreams. You're not asking. I'm choosing, because some dreams matter more than others, and you're the dream I didn't know I needed. He kissed her then. Desperate, fierce, like a man drowning and finding air. When they broke apart, his phone was ringing. Marcus. Ashton answered on speaker. Congratulations, little brother. Your little artist is quite the negotiator. Tell me, was she worth the lesson in humility? She was worth everything, Ashton said. But here's the thing about lessons, Marcus. They go both ways. Meaning I recorded your confession last night. About bribing Sarah. About corporate espionage. The SEC will be very interested. He smiled. See, Olivia taught me something important. Sometimes the best way to win isn't to fight. It's to let your enemy think they've won, then show them the trap they walked into. Silence. Then Marcus's voice, stripped of arrogance. You're bluffing. Am I? Want to test that theory in federal court? The line went dead. Olivia stared at him. You had the recording the whole time? Since last night. But I needed to know something first. What? If you'd sacrifice everything for me, even when you thought I'd choose the empire over you. He pulled her close. You did. And that's how I know this is real. So what happens now? Now? He smiled. Now we rebuild. Together. But they both knew Marcus wouldn't let this go. Men like him never did. The war was just beginning. 3 months changed everything. Ashton couldn't remember the last time he'd laughed like this. Real laughter. The kind that hurt your ribs and made you forget about stock prices and hostile takeovers. Olivia had that effect. She'd turn his penthouse into chaos, sketching on napkins during dinner, telling stories about Winston the one-eyed cat with theatrical flair, challenging every assumption he'd built his empire on. You don't own people, she'd said last week, when he'd mentioned his board members. You work with them. There's a difference. Semantics. No, it's humanity. Something you seem to have misplaced around the same time you bought your first yacht. She was right. She was always right. And it terrified him. Tonight he'd pulled strings, called in favors, got her an exclusive contract with Aurora Publishing, the biggest children's book company in the world. 6 figures, creative control, everything she'd dreamed about. She sat across from him now in his private dining room, candlelight catching the gold in her auburn hair. The contract lay between them like a promise. I can't accept this, she said quietly. Why not? Because I don't know if I earned it or if you bought it for me. Her green eyes met his. And I need to know the difference. You earned it. I just opened the door. Doors you opened because we're together. Because of whatever this is between us. Does it matter? He reached across the table, caught her hand. You're brilliant, Olivia. The world should see that. It matters to me. She pulled away. I've spent my whole life being told I'm not good enough. Not rich enough. Not connected enough. And now you're handing me everything I wanted. And I don't know if it's real or if it's pity. It's not pity. Then what is it, Ashton? Her voice cracked. Because you don't do relationships. Everyone knows that. You collect women like you collect cars. So what am I? What is this? The question hung in the air like smoke. 6 months later, the hearing changed everything. Marcus stood before the SEC board, his empire crumbling in real time. The evidence was damning. Recordings, wire transfers, testimony from Sarah, who'd turned witness in exchange for immunity. Every thread pulled until the whole tapestry unraveled. Ashton sat in the gallery, Olivia beside him, their hands intertwined. You could have destroyed him months ago, she whispered. Why wait? Because I needed to understand something first. He glanced at her, whether revenge would make me feel whole or if there was another way. And watching him lose everything, it just makes me sad. Sad that he's my brother and we ended up here. Sad that he thought power was worth more than connection. The judge's gavel fell. Marcus was led away in handcuffs, his face a mask of disbelief and rage. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Ashton ignored them, led Olivia to the waiting car. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere I should have taken you months ago. They drove north, out of Manhattan's steel embrace, until the city became memory and the landscape turned green. 2 hours later, they stopped at a small house by a lake. Paint peeling, garden overgrown. But the bones were good. "I bought this last month," Ashton said. "Thought maybe we could fix it up together." "Make it ours." Olivia stepped out, turned in a slow circle. "It's perfect." "It's a disaster." "No, it's a beginning." She walked to the porch, sat on the steps. "Tell me the real reason you bought this." He sat beside her, shoulder to shoulder. "Because I realized something during all of this. The empire, the company, the money, none of it matters if you're alone at the top. Marcus taught me that. You taught me the opposite. Which is? That sometimes falling is the only way to learn how to fly." She laughed. "That's terrible. Very fortune cookie. I'm serious." He took her hand. "I've spent my whole life building walls. You're the first person who made me want to tear them down. Not because you demanded it, because you showed me what was waiting on the other side. And what's that? A life worth living." The sun was setting, turning the lake into liquid gold. Olivia leaned her head on his shoulder, and for the first time in both their lives, the silence wasn't empty. It was full of possibility, full of hope. "I finished the manuscript," she said. "Aurora Publishing loved it. The book comes out next spring. I'm proud of you." "I know. That's why I dedicated it to you." She pulled a page from her pocket, handed it to him. "Read it." He unfolded the paper. Her handwriting, careful and clear. "For Ashton, who taught me that collisions can create constellations, that falling can feel like flying, that love isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to be broken together." His throat tightened. "Olivia, I'm not finished." She stood, pulled him up. "I have one more question. Anything. That first day in traffic when I yelled at you through your car window. Did you know then that I'd change everything?" He thought about it. Really thought about it. The moment her green eyes had met his. The fury, the fire, the absolute refusal to be impressed by his wealth or his power. "No," he admitted. "But I think some part of me hoped." "Hoped for what?" "That someone would finally see me. Not the empire. Not the net worth. Just me, broken, flawed, human." She kissed him then. Soft. Sure. Like a promise made in starlight. "I see you," she whispered. "I've always seen you." They stood on that broken-down porch as night fell. Two people who'd collided in traffic and found something neither had been looking for. Something that couldn't be bought or sold or traded. Something real. In the distance, Winston meowed from inside the house, already claiming territory. Olivia laughed. "Ready to start building?" she asked. Ashton looked at the house. At the woman beside him. At the future spreading out like an unwritten story. "With you? Always." And for the first time in his life, Ashton Blackwood understood that wealth wasn't measured in billions. It was measured in moments like this. Messy, imperfect, absolutely priceless. They walked inside together, hand in hand, ready to build something that no empire could touch. A home. A life. A love that started with a collision and became a constellation. The end.